how are people relating these days to each other? What is happening in relationships? Why are people feeling bored? So what is your opinion on that? Why do you think people are bored in their relationships?
Well, it's not just boredom is not just a problem that's exclusive to relationships. I feel that people and
Of
human
course.
beings get bored in general in life.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, we have this very Indian expression saying, "I'm doing time pass." It's because, passing through time has become such a chore for people, right? As if it's something you have to spend quickly, as if it's something painful or something difficult to deal with,
yeah.
whereby it's actually quite the opposite, isn't it? Because when you run out of time, you die, isn't it? So why are you trying to spend it so quickly? Don't you want to elongate your time? So that's where boredom comes from. I think it's when you have a dysfunctional relationship with time, you're trying to spend it, you're trying to do time pass. And
Yeah.
essentially, when a routine sets in, when monotony sets in, when life stops surprising you, when your partner stops surprising you, a monotony sets in, as I said, and that's where the roots of boredom can be traced, really. So, just because you're bored in life, it doesn't make you evil in some way. It makes you, in fact, it's one of the most human of sentiments, isn't it? That I got bored.
I was wondering about boredom and I thought maybe it is a modern day concept. Did our forefathers feel bored? Did they put it in these words that they were bored or that they were just stable? Is boredom and stable means the same thing or means different things? Does boredom give you, or is it a breeding ground for some people to feel inspired and do certain different things? How does that boredom yeah, is it a modern concept? Are we seeing it more of now because of how we are as people? What is happening around us? Our mind is constantly stimulated by the media and the images and everything else that we see. So what do you think is happening there?
See, what happens is as years go by, cultural values also mutate and evolve. So I
Yeah,
think back in the old days, right, my grandmother, back in her time, I don't think being bored with your husband was a concept that was accepted. I don't think it was accepted for a woman to have desires of her own for a very long time in this country.
yeah.
All
I
right.
think it's still
So,
accepted.
so even if she was bored with my grandfather and they're both dead, so I can't ask them that question. But even if they were, there's no way we could have found out because she would have censored that part of her
Yeah,
emotional trajectory in the relationship she shared. Probably because of, as I said, the guilt, probably because of certain emotions. So if you're bored with your partner today, you can tweet about it. You can make a meme about it. You can broadcast it to the world. You can even have an affair using WhatsApp, using Instagram. There are ways of discovering potential mates and alternatives. So the technology supports this kind of behavior, but that's not to say that people weren't bored in the past.
is there this extra pressure on men because they have this certain role, to be the instigator, to be doing things, and women may just assume that it is always the man who is going to. When we talk about heterosexual couples, there people
Yep.
are not only
Yep.
heterosexual, people are all types of genders are mixed here. But
Okay.
is there a particular expectation also from women, yeah, that he's the man, he should instigate, right? And women don't necessarily themselves think of, okay, you can instigate as well. According to me, women, men, both can equally inspire each other and get rid of that boredom, whatever that is.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
So do you come across that? Is it always the women who are talking about, okay, but he's not doing anything?
Yes, this is a very, very lovely point you've made. I actually really like this point because, there's, as I said, there's cultural conditioning. So, it's always the man who goes on his knee to ask the
Exactly.
woman to,
I would love to go on my knees
why not?
for
Why
a
not,
man.
right? All right. So, I mean, so you know how it is, right? I mean, there are these stereotypes like, why hasn't he asked me out? Why hasn't he paid for the date? Why
Yeah.
hasn't he, come and said? So, you see, this also comes from some, as I said, some stereotypical ways in which girls are brought up in that, not just this country, everywhere. So,
Everywhere. Yeah.
when a woman takes a lot of initiative, was very vehement and vocal. I've actually heard this, her father says, अरे इससे शादी कौन करेगा? इसी बहुत ज्यादा बोलती है, बहुत ज्यादा जोर से हंसती है. Sorry, I'm breaking into Hindi for our international viewers, those who are there. Basically, the father says that she talks so much. Who's going to marry her? She laughs too
Yeah.
loudly. Who's going to accept her? Or you can't behave this way at your in-laws, all right? You can't walk around in shorts in front of your mother-in-law. So a lot of these really archaic and really silly things are said to girls. So they are made to believe at a very young age that they're not in control. So what happens is when they suddenly reach the teen years, in a bid to take control,
Yeah.
sometimes they may become very aggressive, or they may become extremely bitter, or they may want to prove in every endeavor that yes, we don't need men, or yes, all men are rotten scoundrels who have tried to ruin our lives since the beginning of time, and these generalizations are made. On the other hand, they also want to be frail, dainty little princesses. I'm not saying all women are like this, all right? I'm saying many clients who come to me with this dichotomy. Now they're like, oh, but I'm daddy's princess. I need to be saved. I need to be, a sort of a reckoning needs to take place whereby this my man does this for me. I say, why do you need to be handled? Why do you need to be saved? What are you, a zoo animal that needs a handler? All right. In a couple, you take care of each other, you help each other, you heal each other, you listen to each other. It's not that I need a man who can handle me. What the hell does that mean? What do you mean handle you? What are you, a wolf? A wild wolf that's been caught in a
Exactly.
net? No one needs to handle anyone. Handle your own damn self.
Yeah.
If you are, I keep saying this to my clients' parents, 18-year-olds. I'm like, he's old enough to vote a government into power, and you're telling me he can't manage a couple of hours of studying, or he can't help make a bloody sandwich for himself, and he expects hot parathas in the morning? So don't be entitled, whatever your gender is. Ask questions, investigate. See,
Yeah.
any relationship, not just a relationship with your partner, has to be constantly renewed. Like a snake sheds its skin, you got to shed many iterations of yourself before any progress can be made for the relationship, because boredom is a challenge. It's going to come your way. You're going to run out of your little bag of tricks. Soon the hat will be empty. You won't be pulling a rabbit out of it. All right. So you got to keep yourself updated.
How well do you know your partner? Knowing about somebody's taste in wine and chocolates is not knowing the person. It
Yeah.
is knowing how well person behaves. How does somebody react in a stressful situation? If you're gonna go and tell your partner I've cheated on you, how do you think he or she is going to react? Yeah.
Hmm.
How many people know about that? Most people don't, because they have no idea how they're going to react in a stressful situation, or
Yeah.
whether any other stressful situation. So communication is the key, I feel, as
Yeah.
you are pointing out. Yeah.
Absolutely, but it's not just communication, it's also how you communicate, all right? You
Oh,
can't be like, all
absolutely.
right, you want to communicate, you're an asshole. Look, I communicated. No, you cannot be disrespectful, you cannot be obtuse, you cannot be acrimonious, and you cannot be mean-spirited when you communicate. Remember, you are communicating to solve a problem, not to exacerbate it, not to compound your worries, okay? You are talking to give a respite to someone who is important to you, not to win a bloody argument. Because you may very well win the argument, but you may lose the person in the long run. It's a sort of erosion that takes place. So, really, every time you speak to your partner, ask yourself, how can I make this situation better? Not how can I make this situation go away?
How we communicate, how the choice of language, what we have, and of course, now as people are becoming more what we call cosmopolitan, people are marrying different cultures, different races, and how different cultures communicate. You can't just shout on somebody and just expect no reaction. So that is definitely important, how you are communicating, as well as that communicating with your partner.
Correct. How are you communicating and why are you communicating? Like, are you communicating
Yes.
to really, be a smart ass and prove to your partner how smarter you are than that partner, or how you always have the logic worked out? Like, why are you communicating? Or are you communicating to really reach out to someone, to really understand what it is that's eating them on the inside? All right. All right.
What can one do to get rid of it, or where does it start to unravel, to open it up and to look at the solution? We know the problem is there, or when people know the problem is there, what can we do to find a solution? So yeah, we need solutions. Yeah, problems are problems, but we need solutions.
Well, firstly, what I tell couples is make your peace with boredom, because it's not unique to you or your relationship. Make your peace with. Stop treating it like the villain, that you think it is. As I said, sometimes it's a catalyst, as I said, for beautiful things to happen in your life. So if there is boredom, You don't say, "Oh no, there's boredom. This the relationship is over." You say, oh no, there is boredom. So maybe there is something in our schedules that needs to change. Maybe there is something in the way we talk that needs to change. Maybe there are a certain choice of activities that we've been engaging in which needs to undergo a little bit of a shift. Are we constantly just doing the same stuff? Are we eating at the same Chinese restaurant? Are we watching the same types of movies? When's the last time we watched a documentary together and had a 2 hour panel discussion, just the two of us, on the topic? And a topic that both of us don't know anything about, freaking dolphins, or or some kind of nuclear tragedy in Fukushima. Watch a documentary about it. Watch a documentary about how to make sushi. We don't know jack about it. So why not inject situations, topics of discussion into our relationship to sort of unravel aspects of ourselves to ourselves and also to our partner. So it's about mixing things up. Also understand what are the hot buttons in your partner. Very important, because certain things are like a no-go for certain partners.